Have you ever considered how the global monetary system is akin to a game of musical chairs, a process that only functions while in constant motion? Picture this: approximately $100 trillion in liabilities, yet only $6 trillion in base money. An incredibly leveraged system that teeters on the brink of instability, requiring a rush of money printing during crises. It's more of a precarious house of cards, rather than a sturdy house of bricks. Now consider the dollar's role as the world's reserve currency. This status inflates the dollar's value, making US exports less competitive. Foreign nations needing dollars for trade force the US to run persistent trade deficits. Decades of these deficits have led to creditor nations holding substantial amounts of US assets. These structural imbalances have led to the erosion of US manufacturing, while simultaneously enriching financial centers. Currently, we are witnessing an acceleration, a realignment of shifts that began in the 2010s. The world is gradually moving away from a US-dominated system towards a multipolar arrangement. Nations like China, Russia, India, among others, are developing alternative trading systems. This shift represents a return to historical norms, as the US-dominated system was indeed an anomaly. Let's delve into the Trump administration's trade strategy. Stephen Moran's paper outlines options, including tariffs and fees on US financial assets. The administration grapples with contradictory goals, maintaining the dollar's reserve currency status while reducing deficits. The recent US-China trade tensions represent the first serious attempt to address these imbalances. However, the initial implementation may have been rushed and potentially self-defeating. The bond market is also experiencing a significant transition. The 40-year bond bull market that spanned from the 1980s to the 2020s has ended. We are entering a period similar to the 1940s through the 1970s, where bonds will underperform. Central banks are increasing gold holdings for the first time since 2009. There's also a growing interest in neutral reserve assets like gold and Bitcoin. Speaking of Bitcoin and gold, both have interesting outlooks. Gold, though temporarily overbought, remains in a structural bull market. Bitcoin has demonstrated its resilience as a global asset, distinct from US markets. It correlates with the global M2 money supply approximately 87% of the time. This resilience leads to expectations of Bitcoin reaching new highs, potentially $150,000, within the next 12 months. In conclusion, this conversation captures a critical moment of transition in the global monetary system. This transition has implications for investors, nations, and the balance of global power in the coming decades. It's a fascinating time to be involved in the global financial system,